Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I am back with the second Booktuber Cheese Tag. I created the Booktuber Cheese Tag back in 2018 as a combination of my Foodie Book Tags and Pay It Forward on Booktube Tags. And the way that this goes is it follows that question of if so-and-so were blank, they would be blank. For instance, if so-and-so was a tree, they would be this kind of tree. And why are they this kind of tree? In my case, I am going to be comparing different booktubers to types of cheese, and I will elaborate and explain why I have them down as a certain kind of cheese. If you want to see the first video, I will leave a link down below to where you can find it. But that will incorporate different, not just booktubers, but bookish personalities across Goodreads and Instagram or Bookstagram. In this case, I'm going to be talking about 12 bookish personalities that range from Booktube, Goodreads, and Bookstagram. The first booktuber that I'm going to be talking about is Amber from Amber Unabridged. And if Amber were a kind of cheese, she would be Pepperjack. Because, to me, Pepperjack knowingly has that kick to it, if you know enough about it. And despite the fact it looks somewhat subtle, and the Jack part, or the Monterey Jack part of the cheese, is in itself very subtle. Amber looks very subtle and presents herself as being very subtle and a bit neutral. But once you hear her, and she has the ability to express a particular opinion, there are no boundaries to what she's going to say or cover. She definitely tells it like it is, and she's very memorable in doing so. Next is Glenn Russell, who is a noteworthy, and I would argue a renowned and an extraordinary Goodreads reviewer, one of the best in the business. If I compared him to a cheese, he would be feta, because he will often read and review ancient works, classics, more pretentious works of literature, but yet he's so flavorful in the way that he approaches these works and in the way that he reviews them. These works have the capability of being dry and tasteless to people that may not be into this area. And in many cases, they're not. But whether they are accessible or not, Glenn does a great job reviewing, evaluating, structuring the review in a way that he provides the reader with food for thought in order to want to pick up, read, and form their own opinion on the matter. I find that his reviews, very much like feta cheese, are savory, thought-provoking, and memorable in every which way. Next is Cara from Wilde Book Garden. I also have the honor to work alongside her as she's a contributor for the Literary Gladiators channel. She contributes videos 4 times a year. But if Cara was a kind of cheese, she would be mascarpone. Because she has such a charming way of expressing strong opinions, and you can definitely tell that she's very passionate about what she believes in, and the way that she expresses herself throughout the channel, and with with the reading material that she approaches, and then how she ultimately approaches that material. Like mascarpone cheese, I find her to be underrated and overlooked. I think that more people should be checking out her channel the way that they check out a lot of the powerhouse booktubers. But at the same time, she's been a powerhouse when it comes to contributions to the community as far as readathons are concerned and collaborations. She is very like mascarpone. Mascarpone is a cheese that very much is a supporting. It ends up being a supporter to often sweet dishes or desserts, but Cara is great when it comes to her role as a collaborator and a contributor. I've had her on a Zoom discussion once, and she contributes videos quarterly on our channel. But she's collaborated with a good handful of other booktubers, and she has contributed in some way, shape, or form to the progress of their channel. I think that she's a very valuable member of the booktube community, both as the anchor to her channel, Wilde Book Garden, a contributor to our channel, and her contributions and collaborations to other channels too. The next booktuber that I'm going to talk about is Bridget from Bridget Emma's Books. She is a monthly contributor to our channel as well, and it's a delight to have her on board. If Bridget was a cheese, she would be Asiago. The first thing I was thinking was her Italian heritage. She's from Australia, but she has an Italian heritage, very much like myself, where my ancestry includes Italian among several other things. Even though I live, and I've always lived, in the United States. But I feel that she's initially overlooked, but once you are able to check out her channel, you're going to love and admire what she has to offer. I think that she is creative and filled with versatility. Asiago cheese is often viewed as a cross between cheddar and Parmigiano Reggiano, where it has the texture and the consistency of a cheddar, but it has the taste and the execution of Parmigiano Reggiano. And I think that in that way, she has that light-hearted execution, but she's very deep in her subject matter. Which it's a little bit of the reverse with the theory that I just gave, but I still think that watching Bridget's videos, be it on her channel, Bridget Emma's Books, or the contributions that she's made to our channel, are very fulfilling. The next booktuber that I'm going to talk about is Keeley from Keeley's Reading Nook. Keeley is just fantastic. I really enjoy watching her videos on her channel, and I'm really honored and delighted to have her as a contributor on our channel. She contributes monthly. If Keeley was a kind of cheese, she would be mild cheddar. And I see that because I feel that her videos are very cozy, heartwarming, very much like a bowl of macaroni and cheese, or mild cheddar cut up with apples, or mild cheddar on a grilled cheese sandwich. Not sure if I would do the Tom and Chi where it would be on a glazed donut, but that would be up to you. But at the same time, Keeley's videos are very involved. It feels very much like story time. If the entirety of BookTube was compared to story time and telling stories, I think that Keeley's would be it would be among the most enriching. For enthusiasts like myself, we like sharp cheddar, and we like that assertive taste. But then there's also people that like the more mild variation, and everybody can enjoy a good mild cheddar. And I think that Keeley is just lovable and appealing to any viewer of any taste. Next booktuber I'm going to talk about is Todd from Todd the Librarian. I really admire Todd's videos as well as his ongoing support for Literary Gladiators. I really appreciate the enthusiasm and his comments and all of the great things that he has done to support us along our journey. If Todd was a kind of cheese, he would be whiskey cheddar, which I acquired that one time at a cheese shop. I tried it. I really liked it. It's very much a single standing cheese. I really can't think of good accommodations to enjoying it because it really stands well on its own. But I think that Todd does a great job with his videos as far as his having them stand on his own is concerned. He is from the South, and his videos do have a very unique kick to them. For those that are like a casual or a social drink, Todd is definitely your guy, and I think that one can definitely enjoy a casual or social drink while they watch his video. His videos have a very laid-back and conversational tone to them. I think that whiskey cheddar has that ability, even though it does really, when you eat it, you're definitely going to perk up. But his reading tastes are casual, but they do have a kick to them. And the way that he executes these tastes also provides you with quite a kick. The next booktubers that I'm going to talk about are Erion and Prometheus from the BookZealots. And they work very well together. And in my most recent 16th Pay It Forward on Booktube Tag, I compared them to cantaloupe and prosciutto. If they were a type of cheese, they would be Huntsman. It's a cross between two kinds of cheese, and that's Double Gloucester and Blue Stilton. Erion would be the Double Gloucester, and Prometheus would be the Blue Stilton. They're very different in their reading tastes, but they go so well with one another in the way that Erion, her tastes are a little bit more traditional. She's very much into reading Christian texts or works with Christian undertone, whereas Prometheus's interests are very much about scientific nonfiction, mathematical works, the construction of military equipment. The way that I see Erion is a bit more home style, whereas Prometheus is more New Age. Very much like when Roger Ebert rebooted his At the Movies, because he wouldn't be able to take part because he couldn't contribute to a back-and-forth conversation at that time because of the jaw surgery that left him unable to speak, as well as eat or consume things the way that most people are able. He had Christy Lemire and Ignatiy Vishnevetsky. Erion is like your Christy Lemire, and Prometheus is like your Ignatiy Vishnevetsky. And that's the way that I see Double Gloucester's a little bit more traditional in its taste, whereas Blue Stilton is a little bit more, it has a bit more of a complex taste, but yet it's enjoyable and desirable nevertheless. And I think they do a great job working together as well as apart in separate roles. The next one that I'm going to talk about is Lucy. Lucy has a bookstagram called Books and Fandoms Galore, where she talks about her reading and her writing. She's currently working on a Peter Pan retelling called Tales of Neverland. And she does a great job with her reviews as well. She writes them on Goodreads, and she's also a contributor on our channel. She was monthly, but she's going to become bi-weekly. So we are really looking forward to that. Lucy, if Lucy was a cheese, she would be cream cheese. Because she has a very sweet demeanor, but yet she's straightforward, and she has a very sassy execution. I think that she's doing a great job spreading her cause, which is a bit of a pun intended, and she's leaving her mark on any kind of platform, not missing a beat, which cream cheese is a very spreadable kind of cheese. Cream cheese is also good in both sweet and savory situations. Oftentimes, a bagel, as a prime example, leans toward the savory side as far as taste is concerned, though you do have kinds like cinnamon raisin that are sweeter. But at the same time, going the completely opposite direction, cream cheese is your traditional base for cheesecake. But nevertheless, cream cheese is a very versatile cheese, and Lucy is very versatile with any given environment and any given material, be it how she conveys her thoughts, the platform she uses to convey these thoughts, as well as her reading material regarding what it is that she's reading and talking about. The next booktuber that I want to talk about is Kari from Ex Libris Kari. I've really enjoyed her videos. She's only been out for the last month or so. And she is an American living in Paris. And she's really enjoying life in Paris, France. So the first thing I would think of is what kind of French cheese would best describe Kari. I ended up with a Swiss cheese, but it does have a French background. If Kari was a cheese, she would be Raclette. Raclette is actually French. It translates from the French word raclure, meaning to scrape. And there is a lot of there's a lot of content and a lot of opportunity and material that you are going to be able to scrape from Kari's backlog that's only going to get thicker and more hearty. Rock-a-lot is also a melting cheese. I enjoy having it on a potato, and I think that it really fleshes it out perfectly. I've been putting a lot of recently it's primarily been Mexican blend shredded cheese, which is it's a combination of different kinds of cheese, but I think that Kari is doing a great job melting her way throughout the booktube community, and I think that she's really going to be a strong-standing participant and contributor within the booktube community. I think that you have a lot to look forward to as far as Kari and what she has to offer is concerned. Rock-a-lot is also an adaptable cheese, and Kari does a great job adapting to the trends, very like reading vlogs and things of that nature, following in the footsteps of a booktuber has become popular and prevalent, and Kari is pretty demonstrative in that. There was the one where she went to many of the English-speaking bookstores in Paris. But I also think that Kari is effective in either shaping new trends or contributing new ideas that will ultimately become major trends within the community. Next booktuber that I want to talk about is Robert from Barter Hordes. Robert is known as being the creator and founder of the Booktube Prize. And if Robert was a kind of cheese, I would say he'd be Havarti. Havarti is very versatile and creative in its own right. You can apply it to so many different settings as far as a cooking cheese, a plate cheese, pairing it with dill and other ingredients is concerned. And I think that Robert has demonstrated a great deal of versatility and creativity. He does the Booktube Prize, that's his signature. But he also does a tournament where he matches up two different books. And I think that while he's known most for his ideas, I think that as a traditional booktuber, he is a force in his own right as well. And I think he's great at being able to put together and deliver whatever content it may be. The next booktuber that I'm going to be talking about is Michael from Michael K. Vaughan. And if Michael was a kind of cheese, he would be Appenzeller. Appenzeller is a cheese that has a nutty taste and a masculine scent. And it very much has that feel of being in an alpine cottage. And these are things that I attribute to Michael in some way, shape, or form. I think that it feels when I watch his videos, he's so zany, but yet it feels like you're in such a comfortable setting, like you're going to visit a cottage in the woods. And it feels so quaint and peaceful. I think that Robert is, his content is it stands well, and it's very accessible. And I think that Appenzeller is a cheese that does just that. The Swiss cheese that most people know about universally is Emmentaler, and more technically is Gruyere. The shop right where I work, there's at least 4 different companies that produce their own Gruyere that we sell. But Appenzeller is often overlooked. But I think that Appenzeller is more accessible as far as a single standing cheese is concerned. If you wanted something for a board or a cheese plate, I think that Gruyere is better as a cooking cheese, and Emmentaler is better as a sandwich or burger kind of cheese. But my favorite is Emmentaler in a fondue. But Appenzeller, I think, is the best when it comes to a Swiss cheese standing alone. Roccolot is another one, but I think Roccolot is as I said before, it goes best with potatoes. The last booktuber that I'm going to be talking about is Hannah from Snow White Reader. I believe that she's posted content on her channel within recent months, but I've seen more of her content previous. But if Hannah was a kind of cheese, she would be Derby. To me, the Derby that I come across most is Sage or Port Wine Derby. Sage initially, and I bought Sage Derby, I've eaten it, and I liked it. I'm going to be trying Port Wine Derby very soon. But it does have a texture and what I can see is an underlying taste that is able to stand on its own, too. And Hannah, in the traditional sense, has created content that has been able to stand on its own in the traditional sense. But Hannah is known most for her flavorful ideas. They're not necessarily traditional in the sense of what you've seen in the community. She's done the role. She's done cosplay. She's done acting roles as in a teaching kind of way. She's acted as a teacher or a professor. She's done interviews. She's done reactionary videos. My favorite, though, was when her and her friend were comparing different fantasy authors to different types of cheese. That one hit a home run. And even though I'm not much of a fantasy reader, it's probably one of my favorite videos that I've ever watched in the 8 years that I've been watching BookTube. But I think that Derby is a strong-standing cheese. Hannah is a strong-standing booktuber, filled with unique flavor. I want to thank you for checking out this video, and I encourage you to check out all of these channels. I'm going to leave links down below to the best place that you can find each of them. Glenn is going to be Goodreads, Lucy's going to be Bookstagram, everybody else is going to be their BookTube channel. And within the next few months, at least sometime during the summer, I would like to film and release a 17th Pay It Forward on Booktube Tag. And I do want to incorporate booktubers that I mentioned here, specifically those that have less than 1,000 subscribers. I'm hoping that by the time that Pay It Forward video comes out, a lot of these, if a lot of these booktubers, if they haven't reached 1,000, will reach 1,000 subscribers. But just have to keep rooting and supporting them. If you like what you see on this channel, please subscribe. I would really be interested to hear what you thought about this video, and I'd really be interested to hear what your thoughts are as far as if different booktubers were different kinds of a certain fill in the blank. Even if you wanted to do Booktuber as a different kind of cheese, I would be interested to hear your thoughts on that too. I know that others have responded with different kinds of beer, different kinds of wine, and I just find this to be a video that I enjoy doing and enjoy thinking about. If you really, really like what you see, please support our channel on Patreon, for the money that we make allows us to provide you, the viewer, with even more great content. We have a lot more in store, and we want to provide you with even more great content too. Thank you for tuning into this video, and for now, keep reading.